Hello, Willowbrook family. Today we are reading from John chapter 16. You know, when I was growing up, from a child all the way to my early adult years, there was one disease that I was deathly afraid of getting. And surprisingly, it wasn't a form of cancer or heart disease. It was diabetes, and especially the type of diabetes that requires that you give yourself shots. You know, there were two reasons I feared getting diabetes. One, pain is coming. I mean, having to give yourself shots seems very painful to me, and I was very afraid of needles. And number two, my life will change. I'll have new routines, new challenges to face, and new burdens to carry. Well, lo and behold, when I was 20 years old, guess what I got? Diabetes. And it was the type where you have to give yourself shots multiple times a day. And even though I had gone through some training on how to do it, I remember the first time I gave myself a shot all by myself. My hands were sweaty, my heart was pounding, and I was just so nervous. So I took a deep breath and I put the needle into my skin and I gave myself the insulin. And yeah, you know, it stung a little bit, but a whole lot less than I had imagined. And you know, it didn't take me long at all to accept these syringes as a part of my daily life. You know, even though I have an insulin pump now, it definitely doesn't require as many shots. Throughout my lifetime, I have given myself over 15,000 injections, and I don't fear it at all. You see, I learned to accept the pain and the changes in my life because something powerful was going inside me, insulin, and it has been to my advantage. You see, I literally cannot live without insulin. And to be honest with you, I don't feel these shots anymore. They're pretty much painless. Now, let's look at John 16. As Pastor Mark said on Monday, John 13 through 17 happens in the upper room during the Last Supper. This is Jesus' final quality time with his disciples. And in this chapter, Jesus tells them to be ready for two things. Number one, pain is coming. You will be outcast from the synagogue. You will be persecuted. In fact, people will seek to kill you, and they will think they will be doing God a favor. And number two, your life is changing. I'm going away, and you can't go with me. But then Jesus gives this wonderful word of encouragement. The Helper, the Holy Spirit of God, is coming to you, and it will be to your advantage. Now, if I was one of the disciples, I probably would have asked, how is it to our advantage that you leave us? Here's some answers. Jesus was still in his earthly form. Now, he could heal from a distance, but the human body of Jesus was not omnipresent. So if the disciples had a question or needed comfort from Jesus, they had to go find him physically. And you know, that's okay, as long as they all are together. But what do you do when you're in a different physical location from Jesus? You see, because the Holy Spirit of God, the great comforter that now lives in every believer, and because of what Jesus did on the cross and the empty tomb, we can boldly come before the throne of the Father in Jesus' name, anytime, anywhere. You don't have to go get in the car and drive around to find Jesus physically. The Comforter gives us such assurance that even when we know pain is coming and our life is changing. You know, especially during these days, don't be afraid, because you are peacefully assured the great Comforter lives inside of you, and it will be to your advantage. Jesus concludes the chapter with this promise: "These things I have spoken to you, so that in me you may have peace. In the world you have tribulation, but take courage. I have overcome the world." Have a great day in the Lord, Willowbrook, and we'll see you tomorrow in John 17.